I run a program that has about 385 children come through a year in a clinical setting, and a lot of our work is done at the elementary school. So I was already running a clinic last spring in a school near Tulsa, and with fourth grade students. And Donna Bigby showed me a wonderful program called myON, and we decided to incorporate that into our work with students who were being remediated for reading. What we did is we had 75 fourth grade students. All of these had been selected by the teacher and the principal, and we're on what's called a reading sufficiency plan in Oklahoma. It's basically for a student who is not reading at grade level. Our state law requires they be put on a plan of improvement. I am so impressed with the myON program. It's an amazing reading program and platform for boys and girls as well as for the teachers. And just some of the things that I've observed from the very first time that Donna showed this program to me is that it's using the best practices that we know in technology and reading. And this is what really sold me on the program when I saw it. Some of the things that I noticed from looking at the program, one is choice. The boys and girls love having choice of books and choice of how to read the book and how to proceed. The kids absolutely loved it. Second is enthusiasm. A lot of the boys and girls that we get in our reading clinical work are not very enthused about reading, and the children, without exception, loved the books with myON, loved being on the computer program. The other children who were in the classes that were not part of the myON program really wanted to be, so that said a lot. Some other things we saw, one was enhanced comprehension. A lot of the children who were struggling with reading, the myON program really enhanced their comprehension. We saw very nice growth according to the Lexile measures from myON, as well as external reading assessments that I have my students administer. Some other things that I noticed, it's very easy for the teacher to differentiate instruction. This is oftentimes, in my part of the country, it's very common to see every fifth grade student in the fifth grade reader, whether or not they can read that or they're far advanced. With the myON reading program, especially for the guided reading portion of a lesson, it automatically differentiates the level of reading for the children. Something else that I thought was really neat was the family involvement. Donna and Kathleen allowed for the students to have a username and password to take home, and they could work on their myON program at home. And we had several children whose parents speak Spanish, and the children were helping the parents to learn and read and write in English using myON. What we found was our study right now has focused on comprehension levels of students and whether or not the use of a digital platform such as myON enhances comprehension. And what we found so far is that it definitely has a big impact on comprehension, especially when comprehension is measured by a computerized assessment such as the Lexile assessment with myON. The other portion that we want to examine from this study is the attitude, because this is something that is in the field of reading, we really work a lot with a concept called alliteracy, students who know how to read but choose not to. And so we want students' attitude to be positive toward both academic and recreational reading, so that students will not only learn to read but will become readers. And so in this study we're examining the students' attitude and how use of myON every day impacts student attitude. So that's our next portion of this. We're also looking to do a much larger study and look at more comprehension measures, attitude measures with larger numbers of children, and also compare those against state test scores.
And if you were Donna or Kathleen, and you've known them for a long time,
sure,
and their colleagues were sitting in a room watching you on video right now, what would you tell them about the benefits and what you see as the benefits of myON and why they should feel confident selling and communicating the vision of myON Reader?
Oh, sure. I think there's probably 5 or 6 things that I would highlight and that I would share with potential customers as well as school superintendents, principals, and teachers. One is the enthusiasm and excitement that boys and girls have toward reading. This is, if we can get the children excited about reading and wanting to read, that's half our battle. And the myON program really takes care of that. One of the buzzwords in education right now is differentiation of instruction. And the myON program easily lets the teacher differentiate, really with doing very little work. The myON platform does the differentiation for the teacher. Again, family involvement. The children can take the username and password home and easily can continue reading, collecting books on their bookshelf, sharing those with family at home. That's a huge piece that is embedded in the myON platform. Accelerated reader. In schools that are using AR, all of the books have quizzes that are available, so children can, if you're in a school where children will not read books unless it's an AR book, all of the books are available for quizzes. Benchmarking. This is another piece that we looked at, that many of the schools want benchmarking data, and the myON platform is an excellent tool to use in addition to DIBELS and other measures for benchmarking.
As you think about our future and our future work together, we hope, because we definitely enjoyed working with you, what do you encourage us to investigate, to think about as the future of myON unfolds, whether it's in the myON Reader program or beyond myON Reader into other areas of English language arts?
Sure. I think one thing that is already being done is continuing to add books. The more books that can be added, I think the better. You can never have too many. I think extending myON to the upper grade levels is a wonderful benefit. While it's wonderful right now, that would only improve it. The other piece that I think would be wonderful is to add a writing component to myON, because we know reading, writing, speaking, and listening are all two sides of the same coin. And if we can add a writing piece, that only strengthens the program.
Excellent. So some people might look at myON and say, well, you're giving all this audio to kids. You're not reading to them. You're just giving them audio, and they're just going to become passive readers rather than active readers. What would your response be to that? And obviously your study on motivation will be an interesting connection to that. But what are your thoughts on giving kids audio with books and what we're doing in myON to allow teachers to turn that on or off?
Well, really, one of our best strategies that we have for reading is the to, with, and by strategy, where the teacher first reads a selection to the children, then the child reads the selection with the teacher, and then the child reads the story by him or herself. And this goes back to the theories of repeated reading. And so basically what myON is doing is building on the best practices that we know, where the children can have a good model of fluent reading, as much or as little as needed, and then can incorporate that into their work as they become more proficient in reading.